a rival of the Arizona Cardinals, but I think what is one of the classiest moves I've seen in a very, very long time, bringing people together after a tragic situation where the Arizona Cardinals leadership and ownership reached out, flew families here, flew the animals here, set up the field to look like a Rams home game, and went all out to make the Rams fans and the Rams players and family members feel at home for the playoffs. So joining us to talk about that is Cardinals owner Michael Bidwill. Mr. Bidwill, thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me on, Mike. Appreciate it.
I know it was this has been a long week for you guys. I appreciate the time. Let's start with what did it take to pull this off? This was no easy feat. What did it take?
It took a lot, and it took a lot from so many people, literally hundreds of people, with the Cardinals and with our sister companies, Insignia Events, Craft Culinary, and Gridiron Air, as well as with the National Football League, the Arizona Sports and Tourism Authority, the Rams, of course, and others. It was a Herculean effort, but so many people on the front lines did so much to make this happen. An NFL playoff game has never been moved to a new location. I did not know that until last night when Roger Goodell told me, and I told him, I said, look, I'm glad you didn't tell me that before all this, because it might have made it a little harder.
And for the people that didn't see any of the coverage locally, I thought that Fox 10 did a great job with it. I was watching their coverage yesterday. The locker room looked like as close as could be to a Rams locker room. You even converted the store, the store for souvenirs and for T-shirts, and for the store was converted to Rams gear as well. You did everything you could to make them feel at home. Now, they're a division rival, but there is a mutual respect, isn't there?
There is, and my father taught me, it's always a good time to do the right thing. And with the National Football League, we always try to do what's best for the league and the game of football. And this was absolutely the right thing to do. When you think about it, all of us here in Arizona, and certainly within our organization, our hearts are breaking for the people of Los Angeles. And all of us are thinking, well, what can I do? Well, I told our staff, this is what we can do. We can make sure this game comes off flawlessly for the NFL, for LA, for the people of LA and their team, the Rams. And so while it was a little painful for me as a Cardinals fan, lifelong Cardinals fan, to see that blue and gold in our stadium, it's still the right thing to do. And we wanted to make sure that this game came off as well as it could. We had 64,500 people there last night. All the suites were sold out. Our sales team did a great job. Our stadium operations team did a good job. Great job. Our football operations with the training facility, Gridiron Air, our charter airline, did an amazing job by moving two 777 Boeing 777 jets out there to pick up, the families, the players, 6 cats, 2 dogs. There were just so many people that had a hand in the success.
Yeah, it was a little strange when during the pregame and watching and seeing that logo on the 50-yard line and it's seeing Los Angeles Rams in the end zones. But I think it was what I loved about the whole setting was the fans looked like for just a couple of hours they were able to enjoy and feel some sense of normalcy. There was if you remember, I'm sure you do, when President Bush threw out the first pitch in New York at the Yankee Stadium, there was the entire nation cheering that on, that we won't be dissuaded. It was different with a terrorist attack, but here there was a sense of normalcy for a few hours, and that had to be worth everything to you to see that happen.
There sure was, and especially for the players and the fans of the Rams, the coaches, their whole organization. They were undergoing so much stress, so you could tell it in their voices, and including when they got here. But once they got here, things got back to normal. They used our training facility. They got into the rhythm of the week, and obviously were well prepared for the game because they absolutely dominated last night. It was an incredible feat that, I think it's also the nature of what Arizona does. We step up when it's time to step up. And I'm just so proud of our organization, of our community, for coming together to make this happen for our neighboring state and neighboring city of Los Angeles in their time of need.
Have you gotten any sleep? Because I got a text message last night after midnight that you were coming on the show. So I know your people were working after midnight. Did you get any sleep?
Yeah, I got some sleep, but everybody in our organization is working hard and was working hard. And same thing with the stadium workers. I left there late. They were proud to be a part of something and to help out. So it was great. And, I think so many people got a lot less sleep than I did in our organization and in the other organizations that helped make this happen. And I truly appreciate that. Commissioner Goodell, over and over, was thanking, because I was trying to point out all the different people that had a hand in making this happen. He was so grateful on behalf of the league to everybody that had a hand in this, and wanted to express his thanks to everyone that helped pull this off.
When did you, and I should have asked this at the beginning, when were you notified that this was possible, and when were you notified that it was happening?
It was Tuesday morning. We're always seem to be on the list when we don't have a home game as a contingent location stadium in case there's something that's makes another stadium not available. And I got a text message at about 6 a.m. From one of the senior executives in the football operations at the NFL. I called her back. We spoke briefly, and I immediately got on the phone with our football operations people, our stadium operations people, and our business operations people, and said, okay, here are all the things that we need to be thinking about, because based on 2003, when we hosted the Chargers-Dolphins Monday night game, I'd been through this before. I'm like, we need to be thinking through all this. And then there are a bunch of new things that didn't exist before. We had paper tickets back in those days. SoFi Stadium and the Rams are a Ticketmaster stadium. The Cardinals and State Farm Stadium are a SeatGeek stadium. We know that we're going to have to give, the fans of the Rams an ability to buy tickets. Can those two systems speak to each other? It was just a lot of logistic things that came down to things. And so we tried to think of everything. But the next day, we were in conversation that day with the entire organization, just trying to get ahead of this and making sure we were totally prepared, thinking of everything we could think of. The next day, Wednesday, the league told us that they were going to announce that we were definitely the contingent site and that they were concerned about public safety resources being taken away from the fighting the fires. And then, we knew Thursday that the game was going to be moved shortly before the announcement. And we had an on-sale plan to put the tickets on sale and everything else, as well as readying the stadium. You heard about all the paint that was driven from Mississippi. And so it was an incredible team effort with a lot of logistics. But again, there were so many people that were a part of this. I probably, I really want to push the credit to them, because it was they who pulled it off. And, I gave the direction and made sure we had the resources for them to get things done. But so many people had a hand in getting this done.
Yeah, the paint story was incredible to me, that there was no way it could be shipped. So somebody got in a truck in Mississippi and drove that paint 1,500 miles or whatever the distance is to make sure it was here by Saturday morning so you could get that field ready.
That's right. And, the trucks carrying the equipment from SoFi Stadium, our equipment staff stayed with the Rams equipment staff, setting up the locker room with all the Rams equipment, and the players' lockers outfitted with all their equipment and their uniforms and all their stuff till 3:30 in the morning on Saturday morning, so that they could be on the practice field without any delays and just have this thing come off seamlessly. There was even a wife. They brought families over. One of the wives has an at-risk pregnancy, and we spoke with our partners over at Dignity Health to line up an OBGYN who specializes in that, just to make sure that she had a point of contact here and a doctor that could address any issues that came up and just make her comfortable that she had proper medical care on call immediately.
Well, I am so glad you came on to talk about this morning. I think that what you did and what your staff did was absolutely incredible. It was doing the right thing at the right time. It was a great example, and I think it might have been one of the kindest gestures we've seen in a long time for a rivalry that's been around for a long time, but I think it solidifies why you do the right things, and I really appreciate you coming on this morning, and thank you again.
Thanks so much, Mike. Appreciate it. Good to talk to you.
All right. That is Michael Bidwill, owner and CEO, president of the Arizona Cardinals. And what a great undertaking that was. It just gives you a little bit of, at least it gives me, I look at that and I think, well, this is incredible to pull this off.
Thanks for watching the Mike Broomhead Show. Tap to watch the first season of Amazing Arizonans, a KTAR News podcast. You can also click the button in the middle to subscribe.